back, Wolfpack. Today we are going to be ranking all of Terraria's bosses by how difficult they are. We're going to start with number 18, the easiest boss for me in Terraria, the Eye of Cthulhu. I find this boss quite easy. I no-hit it in my boss fight video. You should go check that out. And I'd like to say thank you for that one is the most popular on the channel. Maybe this one will break it. We'll see. And that one will go at the bottom of my list, right here. The boss after that, you might be a little surprised about, is actually Skeletron Prime. I find this boss really easy. I know a lot of people don't, but this is definitely the easiest of the mechanical bosses. 17th place is Skeletron Prime. No, let's just not put it there. Let's put it here. It's better. And after Skeletron Prime, a lot of people will be surprised with this one, I'm sure. It's actually Plantera. I find Plantera a really easy boss. I practically no-hit her in my first classic playthrough. She will be going in number 16. But otherwise, Plantera is a fun boss to fight. It's just, she's kind of easy. That's all I have to say about her. In 15th place is the Brain of Cthulhu. I find the Brain as an easier boss. It's the easier of the two evil bosses, which I'm sure most people think the Eater is easier, but not for me. I find him actually pretty average for a boss. After the Brain is, I'm sure people would think I'd put this one lower actually, is the Destroyer. I'm going to be using different things for different bosses. I find the Destroyer quite easy for a boss, but not super easy. Takes me a few attempts usually each. But the Destroyer will be the 14th hardest boss in Terraria. This next one is Skeletron, which I know a lot of people find quite difficult too. But I just don't see what's so difficult about Skeletron. So he's going to be in number 13th. 12th, I know a lot of people put this guy at the bottom, but Golem is in 12th. I find Golem a pretty fun boss to fight, to be honest. If he was a little faster, or like, I don't know, jumped faster, I think that would make the boss fight funner. But other than that, I'm going to have to rate Golem at a 12th. Next is the Eater of Worlds. The Eater of Worlds is number 11. The Eater of Worlds is a overall fun boss to fight, except he's kind of boring. He doesn't do anything really. He shoots a few projectiles from his mouth in higher difficulties, and he just splits. There's not much interesting. I feel like if he had different moves, or the lower his health, more defense and stuff, I think that would be cool. But yeah, the Eater of Worlds needs some work. He's going to go 11th. Now, here's my favorite boss in all of Terraria. It's definitely the hardest mechanical boss. You already guessed it. It is the twins, Retinazer and Spasmatism. I'm going to be ranking one over the other. I like Spasmatism more, even though he was the harder of the two, I say. Or that one is. I'm not sure the genders of bosses. Except like Plantera's a girl, Crystal Light's a girl, Deerclops is a girl. Most people don't know that. But those two are my favorite boss in Terraria. It's so unique compared to most other bosses, even though they are kind of a remake of the Eye. But the twins are the 10th hardest boss in Terraria for me personally. In 9th place is the Queen Slime. I find the Queen Slime to be a fun boss to fight. I think they could lower the projectiles a little bit though. That would make it a little more bearable. But I like to fight Queen Slime. I always do her pre-mech, and I always have a ton of fun with the fight. So Queen Slime's going to be 9th. In 8th, most people would expect me to put him like second or first maybe, but is Duke Fishron. I find Duke Fishron maybe one of the funnest fights in Terraria. It is still on the hard side, but Duke Fishron is such a fun boss to fight. His rewards are great. But if you're gonna fight a boss pre-Moonlord and you're mainly if you're going with melee or ranger or any class, I suggest Duke Fishron. If you're an expert, he will give you the Shrimpy Truffle, which is probably the best mount in Terraria, to be honest. I do not know of a better one. And Duke is 8. And 7th is the King Slime. I just find this boss quite difficult for some reason, even though being probably the first or second boss of Terraria. The King Slime I just find just hard. He's never been an easy boss for me. I don't think I've ever first tried him in my worlds. I wish it was easier. And then after that is Deerclops. Deerclops I find in 6th. Deerclops is just, I don't know, most people find it easy, you can dodge between her legs, but I find it hard, mainly all the projectiles she spawns. So Deerclops is 6th. In 5th place, oh yeah, we've cracked the top 5. So I'm just going to get him out of my inventory. In 5th place is the Wall of Flesh. I mean, Waffles. Who calls it that? Call this guy Waffles. Right? I hope you call it Waffles. Sounds better. Wall of Flesh, Waffles, is the 5th hardest boss for me in Terraria. Even though it's mainly because it's probably the final boss of hard mode. Pre-hard mode. I got all my difficulties mixed up now. Wall of Flesh, Waffles, I gotta correct myself. Waffles is one of the hardest bosses in Terraria for a lot of people. I find this one especially hard. I don't know why, I just do. Maybe because it's so unique compared to other bosses. But overall, Waffles is 5th hardest boss in Terraria, in my opinion. In 4th, now this is the pre-hard mode boss that made the furthest, which is the Queen Bee. I've never had an easy fight with this boss. She is so hard to take on. She's fast. Her loot can be pretty good, especially the Bee's Knees bow. I'm a big fan of that weapon, but I don't think it's worth it usually. I skip her on a lot of my playthroughs, so unless you're going for an all boss run, or like a ranger, or a summoner, I guess, don't really fight Queen Bee. I really don't know why this boss is so hard for me, but she just is. Now the top 3 who have entered. The 3rd hardest boss for me in Terraria is the Empress of Light. The Empress of Light is one of the newest bosses to Terraria. I don't think it's quite the newest, but she is respectively hard. She's a hollow-themed boss fought post-Plantera, even though I think she should be post-Cultist or Golem. Fishron should also be, but he's not. Fighting him pre-mech. Enough about Duke Fishron. We got the Empress of Light. I find her the 3rd hardest boss of Terraria. If you think she's hard, you're right. The 2nd hardest boss for me in Terraria is the 2nd to last boss, which is the Lunatic Cultist. I find this boss incredibly challenging. Like, in Journey mode, it took me 3 attempts. In Journey mode. This boss is such a pain. And the respawn takes forever, which makes it even harder. But he is required, unfortunately, otherwise I definitely would skip this boss because he drops nothing useful other than the Ancient Manipulator. And now, the hardest boss for me in Terraria is the final boss, which is the Moonlord. The Moonlord is the hardest boss in Terraria for me. I just find him hard. There's not really much to say. It's not the Death Ray. That's the easiest thing about the Moonlord. Every other part, as soon as you take out the 3 eyes, is easy. But yeah. So we're going to go a quick run through of it. 18th, I Cthulhu. 17th, Skeletron Prime. 16th, Terra. 15th, Brain of Cthulhu. 14th, The Destroyer. 13th, Skeletron. 12th, Golem. 11th, Eater of Worlds. 10th, The Twins. Retinator Spasmatism. 9th, Queen Slime. 8th, Duke Fishron. 7th, King Slime. 6th, Deerclops. 5th, Waffles. 4th, Queen Bee. 3rd, Empress of Light. 2nd, Lunatic Cultist. And 1st, the hardest boss in Terraria for me, Moonlord. That's nice. I don't like this boss, even though he's required to beat the game. There's not really much more to say about all these bosses. They're just all good in their own way, either by loot, how fun of the fight, the idea of the boss. There's a lot of factors in how hard they are, mainly being point of progression and the fight itself. But overall, Moonlord is hardest, Cthulhu is easiest, first and final boss pretty much. King Slime could be first. Comment down below what your favorite boss is, and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and share this video. I'll see you guys next time. Shade out.